The last time I was personally with Islam Makhachev, he was a little scumbag to me. So it might affect the way that I'm talking about him, but I feel as though I'm being objective when I say to you, what difference does it make who Islam fights? What difference does it make? There's 2 fights for Islam, and he's ducking both of them. He already ducked both of them. And he's now greatly regretting the fact that he got caught by media members like me who are exposing that he ducked Ilia Topuria and continues to duck Tsarukyan. So what difference does it make? Like, if he goes out and beats Ian Gary, I'm not going to give him credit. Now, what am I going to give him? He's the champion of the world.
UFC Hall of Famer Chael Sonnen is once again aiming pound-for-pound king Islam Makhachev, calling his move up to welterweight a sign of cowardice for avoiding a super fight with Ilia Topuria.
For Islam being a coward, for some to interpret that Islam leaving 55 without fighting the guy that came after him, which is Ilia Topuria, made him a coward. And it even used the word cowardice.
Former UFC fighter Josh Thompson did not seem to agree with Chael Sonnen and his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's decision to make the 170-pound jump. In fact, the punk claims that the Dagestan native has done enough to pick his opponents now. Josh Thompson stated, "If you guys don't know anything about Chael, what I will tell you is he is a Russian Dagestan wrestling hater. I've done promos with him, and we've talked about it. He will tell you that there's no such thing as Sambo. It doesn't exist. It's a stolen judo art, and it's a generic version of American wrestling. This is Uncle Chael at his finest. He is American through and through." However, Sonnen makes it clear that his respect for Makhachev runs deep. He praises Makhachev's fighting style as among the best in the sport, points to his career accomplishments as proof of that level.
I like Islam. I like the way Islam fights. I like the respect that Islam showed to his heir apparent, and most importantly, rest his soul, to his head coach Nurmagomedov. I like that those guys are close. I like that they're friendly to each other, but I also like that Islam treats me with a certain esteem. It makes me feel good. But I've also earned it.
Meanwhile, apart from those ducking allegations, MMA pros are also concerned about Islam Makhachev's upcoming challenge against Ian Gary. Ilia Topuria himself predicts Makhachev will struggle against Gary, believing Ian has what it takes to pull off the win.
Do you see him as a big threat to that fight between you and Islam? If Machado Gary were to beat him?
If Jan has chances, you mean to beat Islam?
Yeah.
It's a fight business. Everyone has chances. Everyone, and especially someone like Ian. He's been able to collect a lot of experience during his run in the UFC, and why not? I see him with a lot of chances.
Yeah.
And Islam, we already saw him getting knocked out in a fight, and why not for a second?
Carlos Paredes also thinks Gary has the tools to hang in this fight, giving him a genuine chance to compete. Still, he's quick to acknowledge just how difficult a challenge stepping in with Makhachev truly is.
Of course, he's an underdog against Makhachev, but I truly believe he have a really good skills to beat Makhachev, you know. Of course, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a hard fight. I think if he would the guy kind of knock people out a little bit more, he hurt a little bit more, would be less hard to beat Makhachev, you know. He do a lot of points. He don't hurt people, you know. But I think he have a chance, really good chance, real chance, you know, to beat Makhachev.
Shifting to his own game plan, Gary believes his range, distance management, and defensive skills make him a uniquely difficult matchup for Makhachev, setting him apart from the wrestlers and grapplers Makhachev has typically faced. Above all, he says he's staying focused on getting the win by any means necessary, whether that comes on the feet or by weathering whatever Makhachev brings to the fight.
I have this feeling in my heart that they know I'm the trickiest opponent for them. That's why he's calling out Practice. That's why he's calling out Morales. That's why the champion of the world, one of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen, called out Kamaru Usman to defend his world title fight against. Does that make sense? He knows I'm long, I'm tall, I'm fast, I'm rangy, I understand distance management and control. And if you want to flip that into a terrible wording, then you'll say what he said. But if you want to talk about it from an elite standpoint of view, I don't get hit, very rarely. It's never clean, it's never connected. Do you know what I mean? I'm always just out, and the people don't have that success. I'm tricky on the feet, I'm tricky on the ground, I'm hard to touch, I'm hard to control, I'm hard to predict what I'm gonna do, I'm hard to read. All of those are elite stand-up and grappling skills. So from my point of view, there is nobody in this division that is a trickier matchup for Islam Makhachev.
Weighing in with his own analysis, MMA Guru argues that Gary's 6'3" height and reach will make him difficult for Makhachev to hold down, pointing to the length advantage as a genuine problem for a wrestler used to closing distance on shorter opponents.
Way bigger than him, way taller than him, not bigger than him, but frame-wise. That's a tougher man to hold down. Ian Gary's very athletic. Yes, Shavkat Rakhmonov got him down in the fight, but Shavkat pre-ACL tear, listen, Shavkat pre-ACL tear was quite a formidable foe, all right? And Ian Gary's only going to be learning from that. He's a young fighter as well. I don't think he's 30 yet. He might already be, but he's a very young man. Like, he's not reached his prime whatsoever. And that Prates performance on short notice, not to mention in the Shavkat Rakhmonov performance.
Furthermore, Guru remains confident that Makhachev will struggle to land clean strikes on Gary at range, drawing a comparison to how elite strikers have handled grappling-heavy opponents in the past.
I'm trying to enjoy the ride. I want to get the result that's fun and be correct. That's the ultimate joy in this world. Okay? But it's also met with the ultimate despair that I get the result that isn't more fun and I'm wrong about it as well, and that has to be rubbed in. But yeah, Makhachev could get it done. I don't think he's going to be stinging Ian Gary on the feet though, man. This could be like Cyril Garn Pereira, where the goat's moving up. Look out. I know he's already fought JDM, but still, I just think Ian Gary's going to be too in and out.
But not all fighters are supporting Ian Gary. Looking ahead to the welterweight title fight, John Jones predicts a victory for Islam Makhachev, pointing to his superior wrestling pedigree as the deciding factor against Ian Gary. He suggests that once Makhachev can impose his grappling and control the fight on the ground, Gary's striking advantage becomes far less relevant.
Yeah, Islam's going to fight against Ian Gary next, right? I assume that Islam's going to win that one just because of his wrestling pedigree. You know, to be able to dictate if the fight's going to be standing or on the ground, it's a great gift. Another guy with a strong team behind him, strong faith. I'm not rooting for anyone in that fight because I don't know either one of those guys on the personal level, but I'm assuming that Islam's going to win. That's my prediction.
Shifting to a more reflective moment, Jones looks back on being called a God's gift by Khabib Nurmagomedov's late father, a comment that clearly still carries weight for him. It's a moment that speaks to the respect and connection Jones built with the Nurmagomedov family over the years, one that goes beyond just rivalry or competition inside the cage.
Back then, when you were at light heavyweight, he said,
God's gift. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And I'm honored to have such a compliment come from such a respected man, you know, a proven man. And I believe what he says, you know. It means more because, you know, I'm a Christian, he's a Muslim fighter, Muslim, and for him to feel that way about me, it says a lot. It says a lot.
Now, Magomed Ankalaev, a UFC light heavyweight fighter, discusses Islam Makhachev's potential to set the record for the longest win streak in UFC history, expressing full confidence in his ability to get there. He points to Makhachev's consistency and dominance as clear signs that the record is within reach, calling it just a matter of time before he cements that place in the history books.
You know, it's a very tough challenge to stay in shape and stay ready and stay on your winning streak for such a long time, but we're talking about Islam Makhachev over here. I think that he's going to be able to do it. He's going to be able to set the record of 17 and he's gonna maul the Irish guy.
Weighing in is Colby Covington, the outspoken UFC welterweight contender, known for his brash trash talk and unapologetic style. Adding his own take, Covington predicts Islam Makhachev will beat Ian Gary, backing the champion to get his hand raised when the two step inside the octagon. It's a rare moment of agreement from Covington, who's never been shy about stirring up controversy, but sees Makhachev's dominance as too much for Gary to overcome.
I favor Makhachev for sure. I think he's just going to take him down and dictate his pace and put the fight where he wants to fight. He's too strong for that little twig, you know, that little cuck that sits in the corner and watches his wife get dogged out by the nutritionist. So, you know, I got Islam. Islam ain't doing that cuck.
Adding another voice of support, Cain Velasquez shares his thoughts on his longtime teammate, noting that Islam is currently at the pinnacle of the sport. Velasquez credits much of that success to the environment Makhachev trains in, pointing out that he's in excellent hands under coach Javier Mendez, whose guidance has helped shape him into the dominant champion he's become.
He's a special type of athlete, as we all know. He's one of those guys that are at the pinnacle of this sport here. I talk with Javier all the time, and Islam and those guys are always doing great. So they're in great hands. Javier is the one who builds champions. He's a master at what he does. So he's always with those guys. He's always with Islam, and so I know they're in great hands. They're getting exactly what they need as far as the the fighting goes, the training goes, all that. So I see Islam just continuously doing what he's doing, and that's winning impressively.
Turning to something more personal, he opens up emotionally about the bond he shares with his former AKA teammates, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and Daniel Cormier, describing them as brothers who stood by him during some of his toughest moments. He credits the shared training grind at AKA for forging a connection that's carried well beyond the gym, without getting into every detail of what they went through together.
Yeah, they've all, they're one of the first ones who really messes out to me, so those guys are the brothers. Once you work out with a certain group of people for so long, like that, like in a team sport like that, like AKA, you become brothers. It's a brothership. It's a brotherhood. So Khabib, those guys, Islam, Daniel, Cormier, we build those bonds where at some moment in time we spent more time with each other than we did our own families, because we were in that grind. So that's what it is. We just truly care for each other, want the best for each other, and we're always there to support each other.
Offering a different perspective is Arman Zarukian, one of the UFC's top-ranked lightweight contenders. He sees Islam Makhachev getting the win over Ian Gary, arguing that Makhachev's overall skill set gives him a clear edge once the fight gets underway. Zarukian points to Makhachev's well-rounded game as the type of test Gary simply hasn't faced yet at this level, making the champion the clear favorite in his eyes.
Islam, he's fighting next UFC 330 next month against Ian Machado. Gary, you're good at predictions, so who do you got in that fight?
I got Islam.
How?
It's a tough fight. I think it's a submission.
Submission.
But I gotta rewatch Ian Gary's fight because I don't know him very well. People saying he has a good takedown defense.
Yeah. So we'll rewatch and come back to that.
So because I know everything in my division.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot of people in 170, so I cannot say. But Islam right now he's the best, so it's a little bit hard to beat him.
Ariel Helwani and Pedisi Carroll both believe Ian Machado Gary is being underestimated ahead of UFC 330. They point to his movement, length, and ability to manage distance as qualities that could give Islam Makhachev real problem. Pedisi also notes that this year's run of major upsets proves no champion is unbeatable. Even so, both still view Makhachev as the rightful favorite because of his complete all-around game.
I mean, I guess if it's a really quick fight, but
it's not going to be a quick fight, I don't think.
It's not going to be. Do you fancy his chances, PT?
I think he has a chance, absolutely. I think, look, Islam's the best fighter in the world. It's a huge task. He'll test Ian in a way that we thought Bilal would, and he didn't. yeah, so I'm interested to see how it plays out. But I think Ian can have a lot of success if he sticks to his long range on the outside. Absolutely. Like, you know, we've seen him do this time and time again. It's just a different beast across the cage from, understandably, Islam is the favorite, but absolutely wouldn't rule Ian Gary out, especially after, you know what I mean, the week we've just had. Poatan and Ilya Topuria. I mean, how could you rule the dude out at this stage?
Sharing a similar opinion, Michael Bisping identifies Gary's reach, footwork, and distance management as his biggest advantages. He believes Ian's constant movement, sharp jab, and kicking game could disrupt Islam's rhythm, adding that Gary's confidence is genuine and shouldn't be overlooked. Because of that, Bisping warns the champion may face a tougher challenge than many fans expect.
And I'm telling you right now, this fight for Islam Makhachev may be a lot harder than what people think. Given all of the accolades that Islam Makhachev has, it's easy to just dismiss Ian Gary and say, listen, he's got to just run right through him. Okay, you could send him to Dagestan or Georgia for 20 years and still forget all about it.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Okay, because Islam Makhachev is the GOAT. He's going to take him down. The man's Irish. They don't wrestle in Ireland, for crying out loud. Well, guess what? He's a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's 17-1. He had a very, very close fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Ended the fight threatening the rear naked choke. He beat the former champion Belal Muhammad that wrestled the life out of Leon Edwards, okay? So this is a real fight. Before you start to think that this is just going to be one-way traffic, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot tougher than what you think.
Even with that praise, Bisping still favors Makhachev overall. He points to Islam's victories over elite opponents like Alexander Volkanovski and Charles Oliveira as proof of his championship pedigree. While he believes Makhachev's grappling becomes a huge advantage if the fight hits the mat, he also stresses that Gary's range and mobility could make closing the distance difficult, giving the challenger a realistic chance to keep the fight competitive over 5 rounds.
The career of Islam is ridiculous. When you look at the last few fights that he had, the people on his resume, it's insane. Jack Della Maddalena, Renato Moicano, granted on a day's notice, and he made it look easy, got it done in just 4 minutes. Before that, Dustin Poirier submitted him. Alexander Volkanovski 2 times in a row. Charles Oliveira, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises. When Thiago Moises was the real deal, when he was a contender, when he was coming up and he was very, very hungry. So as I say, he's on a run. The record of Islam Makhachev is 28 wins and 1 loss with 18 stoppages. And of course, if he can get a hold of Ian Gary and take him down, yeah, it's probably going to be easy. Ian will struggle to get back to his feet, and I don't think he can match Islam in terms of jiu-jitsu or submission grappling, okay? But it's the style that Ian Gary has. It is the length and the reach that he has.
Despite the tension between them, Gary expresses genuine respect for Makhachev's skill as a fighter, acknowledging him as one of the best in the sport. Still, he pushes back against Makhachev's recent comments criticizing his fighting style, calling him out for his own lack of finishes in past bouts, a pointed reminder that Makhachev's résumé isn't without its own critiques.
First things first, I don't believe Islam is afraid of anybody. I think he's absolutely one of the best fighters of this generation. I think he knows it. Everybody else knows it. We all respect him. I have nothing but love and respect for him. I've said this multiple times. Nothing changes because he's my opponent. I think what he's done in the sport is amazing.
Looking further to the division's future, Ian Machado Gary, the Dublin-born contender who's built his case as the UFC's #1 welterweight-ranked fighter through back-to-back wins over Carlos Prates and former champion Belal Muhammad, believes the division will be more active and exciting with him as champion. He points to potential matchups with top contenders like Prates and Shavkat Rakhmonov as proof of the kind of fights he'd bring to the table, without laying out every detail of what that reign might look like.
The welterweight division is better and more interesting with me as the champion.
Why?
Why? Argue all you want. People can argue. It's a in my opinion, that when I'm the champion of the world, the welterweight division is better off. Firstly, Islam only fights once a year. So his next defense might be in July 2027. But the matchups, the stylistic matchups, they're very different. You have on the cards a potential rematch with Carlos Prates. That would be massive. You have on the cards there's potential. Arguably the biggest fight you can make in the sport at a certain point is a potential rematch with me and Shavkat Rakhmonov whenever he's able and capable to come back. if he ever comes back, I told you.
With Islam Makhachev now set to defend his welterweight title against Ian Machado Gary at UFC 330 this August in Philadelphia, this one's shaping up to be one of the biggest fights of the year. A dominant, undefeated champion facing his toughest test yet against the division's #1 contender. Whether you think Makhachev's dominance continues or Gary pulls off the upset of the year, we want to hear it. Let us know in the comments who you've got winning this one and why. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more fight coverage like this, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown when the big fights are announced.